All right, guys, we're being consistent. I know I haven't uploaded in 4 days, but we're gonna push past that, and we're gonna get here into today's video. Today's video, we have Bitcoin and then market outlook on futures here, and also what I think Bitcoin is, what I'm currently looking at to take a trade. All right, let's kind of start off with news first. All right, so obviously we have a no news Monday. We have news Tuesday. We got Jolt's job opening and ADP week employment, and then that's tentative. And then Wednesday we got federal fund rate and FOMC, and then I'll definitely be making a video on that. And then Thursday we got unemployment claims, and on Friday we don't got nothing. So that's that. All right, let's get into Bitcoin here. So currently we are trying to inverse this 4 hour gap here, and then this is the last candlestick, and then I'm gonna buy in the midpoint. And then we're also making a 4 hour bearish SMT here. So let's kind of scale down into in a decently small time frame. So we're currently getting bullish order flow up to there. And then once we get into this midpoint, I'm gonna be looking for a confluence to be able to enter on like a 5 minute candle, or even like a 3 minute candle. A 1 minute candle is also perfectly fine too if that aligns with your strategy. So that's pretty much it for Bitcoin there. That's pretty short and pretty simple to explain it in the way that I teach my students. Um, so and then for also forgot, these black lines are just 4 hour highs and lows, because I always mark out my 4 hour highs and lows. Doesn't matter what I'm trading. So 4 hour draw on liquidity to the downside, and then 2 4 hour um, orders to the upside. And then that's pretty simple for what I'm looking at for today. Um, let's kind of also swap over to futures there. So swap over to futures. So we are continuing bullish order flow here. I'm pretty sure that this is just gonna keep continuing, and unless we see some manipulation during the New York session, we might want to get out these 4 hour lows that I have marked out here, and then I got one 4 hour high marked out right here. So that's pretty much it for when it comes to ES futures, and it's pretty much the same story as well. We're continuing bullish order flow. We have 4 hour lows marked out here, and then we got this 4 hour high also here. Let's also go mark out that 4 hour high that I had on here, because we might want to almost inverse this here, or just pretty much take it out. So it's also, then let's scale back down here. It's like 10 minute, or actually no, let's go 15 minute there. All right, so 50 minutes. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking for. I think we'll continue bullish order flow unless we find some manipulation when it comes into New York session, or can just pretty much keep continuing it there. So I feel like that was pretty simple to explain there, since I mean we're just continuing bullish order flow both on ES and both on NQ as well. And unless we find manipulation, then we maybe can target 4 hour lows to the downside there. So maybe we can, obviously I'm gonna be entering off of like a break structure on order block, breaker block, and inverse our value gaps. So whatever aligns with your confluence, we can either target upside, or we can take out some of these lows. But what I'm thinking is we might want to come grab out these highs or these highs, and then maybe kind of short to the downside. So bullish order flow might get inversed in coming into Monday, but also at the same time there, we also have no news Monday. So I don't know if we're gonna find that much manipulation. And also something that can also be kind of hindering us is, as we get closer, like I spoke to in my other videos, as we get closer to Christmas, people just kind of like start selling off so they can buy stuff. So you also got to think in terms of a consumer. So that also kind of coincides with trading as well. So just kind of think of where economic policy and what kind of time of the year that we're kind of in, because it can also kind of influence the market. So that's pretty much it for when it comes to futures there. Um, so let's get into some motivation here. So I'm gonna say that I've been in pretty much every I want to say 90% of trader shoes. And you might be asking why Odyssey, Caleb? Why has I have been in your shoes. I've guaranteed you. I have failed funded accounts after funded accounts after funded accounts. And what I like to tell people that kind of come into trading or just kind of come in the space of trading and they get started and they're kind of pushing into that intermediate phase and they're kind of pushed past the kind of beginner phase. They're buying and they're failing funded accounts there. I always tell them that like you may be one funded account away from understanding what is wrong with either your psychology, your strategy, I doubt it's that, or your risk management. It's probably the first or the third one, to be honest with you. I don't think it's your strategy. I feel like strategies are just kind of like relied on too much. Like, I guarantee you it's probably either your mental or it's just um your risk management. Maybe you might be over leveraged too much. And that's kind of what I find when I kind of look at traders in this space when it comes to future. I'm only talking in the space when it comes to futures and BTC traders because that's what I specialize in. I'm not going to talk about a guy that trades like the Tesla or Apple or Google. Obviously, they look at economic news too, but they're looking at a very narrow point. I'm not talking people that also trade commodities. I'm talking about people that just trade what I trade. So um, that's why I kind of see that in like a lot of traders there. And I always tell them that like you're like one funded account away. You just can't give up when you're that close. You just can't. You might have failed 10, 15 funded accounts. I've been there. I failed 10, 15 funded accounts before I was that one funded account, that one trade I took, and it just kind of flipped the switch. You just got to be the SOB that just never quits. Like I tell my students pretty much that straight way. You cannot quit that. You cannot quit. Just please continue. Like you're that close. You're that close. Like failure is not an option. That cannot be going through your head when it comes to trading. Failure is not an option. Those words right there have to be the forefront of continuing when you're just at that one peak, you're at that one door that you just break through, that one glass window that you just break through, that one trade. It's not necessarily be that one trade. You don't want that one trade to be your defining moment right there. You want that trade to break through your failure. So I'm just kind of speaking in a way, just don't quit. Keep continuing. I've been there. I've failed those funded accounts. I know exactly where you are. I don't know how else to like put it. I promise you I've been in your shoes. I've been in the just the down in the dumps, bro. Like I promise you I've been there. I wanted to quit, but I was like, but I had a mentor. I had someone that kind of like, okay, they kind of saw where I was and they were just like, okay, maybe you might need to do this. Maybe you might need to fix this a little bit. Maybe you might want to fix the way that you're marking out your draws and liquidity. Maybe you need to fix it. It had to play a little bit of strategy, but I promise it was mainly mental when it came to me. I wasn't over risking. I wasn't that type of guy. I wasn't setting like a really tight stop loss and like a big huge profit or just a really wide stop loss. I feel like I've had some of the best risk management when it comes into this game, and it was mainly mental, and it had to do just maybe it was maybe 80 mental, maybe 20 strategy. So I promise you, I've been there. You just need to keep continuing. Like I don't know how else to like kind of put it there. I promise you, I was probably on my 15th funded account before I've taken payouts before then, but let's just say on that 15th funded account, I finally understood and that key finally unlocked. Let's put it that way. And I was just hitting trades after trades after trades. And then obviously I lost some in the way. I lost some along the way to where I was now, but it just finally kind of clicked in a way. So please be that SOB that just never quits. Please. Because I promise, once you reach that final click, it was it was worth what you spent. It was worth your time. So you just don't want to be that guy that just says, "Oh, I'm on my 20th funded account. I just kind of give up now." No. What would you be like if it was my 20? You need to change the wording. Okay, I know I'm on my 20th funded account. Let's go and review the other 19 that I just failed and fix each and every single one. Why did this funded account fail? Why did I fail this one? Why did I fail the fifth one? Why did I fail the 10th one? And so on and so forth. So that's what I'm trying to say there. You're one funded account away from winning. Just tell yourself that. I'm one funded account away from winning. Okay, I failed 15. I failed 20. I failed 25. You got to frame it like that. That's kind of how I framed it the way that I was. So I just want to leave off with that there. I know it was quite a bit of talking right there, but please just listen to that and let that play over and over again in your head when you're failing these funded accounts. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope that little segment really did help because it took a lot to kind of put it in a really good wording. So I'm gonna leave off on that, and I hope y'all guys um could keep continuing trading. Please don't quit. I love y'all guys. Thank you.